Hey, this is Mark Henry, author of Dancing with Energy, Healing, Magic, and Mysticism, here to talk to you more about the occult and the paranormal. Well, today's topic is on the magic and energy of Jupiter. But before we get into that, I just wanted to remind you of a couple things. One is that a couple months ago, I opened up an Etsy store, so I am offering attunements, spiritual connections to various energies from spirits, angels, demons. I update them every week, add new particular spirits, gods, goddesses. In fact, I've recently put in Aphrodite, Eros, Astaroth, and I'm sure I'm going to put in Jupiter within the next day or so. So that is coming. In any case, a lot of people have been using it to help with their magic, to change their lives, to make themselves more powerful and improve their lives in a way that are very valuable to them. So in any case, let me go ahead and get on today's topic. So Jupiter. So Jupiter is basically a Roman god. In fact, he's not only a Roman god, he is the king of the Roman gods. He is associated with the sky, the thunder, lightning. His equivalent is Zeus in the Greek pantheon. And of course, Jupiter is also a planetary energy. We have Jupiter in our solar system. One of the things that Jupiter is known for is things like sovereignty and kingship and luxury and being kind of out there with all those things that make life abundant and wonderful. Now, as an energy is concerned, Jupiter is about things like expansion, about growth, about gain. Therefore, most people will petition Jupiter or connect with Jupiter, align with Jupiter in order to gain fortune, to gain wealth, to gain increased money. Another thing that I guess the people that are typically associated with Jupiter, the ones who petition them the most, are those that have a business, they're leaders. He also is associated with fathers and fatherhood, because if you think of him as kind of metaphorically the father of the Roman gods. Now, if you look at the family of Jupiter, so you have Mercury, which is associated with merchants and trading traditionally. So you see this connection with the flow of currency, the flow of money. He's the offspring of Jupiter. And then on the other hand, you have the father of Jupiter, which was Saturn. Now, a lot of times children turn out different than their parents. Saturn is associated with the opposite of what we would consider as Jupiterian qualities. Saturn is associated with restriction, limitation, boundaries. So therefore, in fact, some people will try to connect with Saturnian energy in order to slow things down, or maybe even to inhibit other people as a form of, I guess you can think of a darker magic, a darker planetary magic. So when we're talking about Jupiter, there's also something I wanted to mention that's kind of interesting. These associations with Jupiter have been around a while in astrology and magic. However, if you look at our planet Jupiter, it is, you were talking about Jupiter, the energy, the gods being bigger than life. Jupiter as a planet is our biggest planet. And in 2016, it was discovered that Jupiter has more moons than any other planet in our solar system. So if you think of the moons as possessions or currency, Jupiter has more than any other planets. Kind of the way that things kind of coincidentally turn out. So I thought that was interesting when I was kind of looking more into Jupiter. Now, let's say that you wanted to work with Jupiter, what type of things would you need to collect, think about things that are traditionally associated with ritual with Jupiter. So your colors are going to be like royal blue and purple, regality, in other words. So that would be your candles, or if you wanted to do it really big and dress up, be kind of extravagant, you can do robes of that particular color. The zodiac sign associated with Jupiter is Sagittarius. The day of the week is Thursday, in case you wanted to start your ritual on that particular day. It's also connected with the element of air. Now, some traditional things that people do when they do Jupiterian magic might be a magic box. So you can take like a box, could be a jewelry box, and they do things like write the Jupiter glyph on it. They might put money or jewelry to represent prosperity and abundance, and then they might charge that particular box with the Jupiterian energy, maybe through an invocation, and then channeling that energy into the box, and of course putting their petitions. Now this can be a short-term or a long-term type of working. Most of the time I hear it as being kind of a long-term type of working, and then they will make the adjustments with the box as time goes on, keep like a steady flow of money and finances going throughout their lives. Now, if you were to look at themes of Jupiter, like, what would be the things, what would be the themes or ideas that would help you with money magic dealing with Jupiter? Well, we're talking about the difference between Saturn and Jupiter. So Jupiter is about expansion again. One of the things about money and money magic is, let me back up. There was something I actually wanted to mention if we're talking about money magic. One of the other things that money magic is associated with, or would be, or to know that'd be greatly beneficial to you, would be that to not only use Jupiterian energy, but to use the energy of Mercury, because Mercury is about movement and the dynamic interplay of spending, saving, and earning. That money magic, and the way it's conceptualized, is that there has to be movement going in and out. If you do too much of one, you could run into trouble. For example, the people that were wildly successful, there was a point where they were pretty much broke and had a lot of debt, and they turned it around. Sometimes borrowing money, for example, in order for a business or something, puts you in debt, but the idea is for you to recoup your losses. So again, money magic is about this movement of in and out of money. So when we're talking about Jupiter and that type of magic, is that it's commonly thought that to follow the principles of a Jupiterian type of energy for work with prosperity and abundance is that you have to be very generous. That would be one way. One way is keep that money flowing in and out. And also it helps other people, and that at some point, by building relationships, by being very giving, a lot of times people will remember that and give to you. The church and various other religious traditions encourage tithing, giving 10% to the church. And that is not just about supporting the church, because it is, but the idea is also by being generous and giving, that will come back to you. You don't want to restrict it. Sometimes saving money too carefully without spending it or giving it can cause financial problems. It also creates tension in this idea in you that you don't have enough money, so you have to save it. Now, I'm certainly not saying that there isn't a place for saving, because there obviously is. You obviously want to have more money coming in than you have going out, and saving is important, especially long term, as you get older, to have a nest egg or something for emergencies. But you also have to have it moving in all the different directions. Okay. That is about all that I wanted to kind of share with you today. So let me know what you think. Have you ever worked with Jupiter? Do you believe in some of the ideas that are connected with money magic and Jupiterian ideas? And again, check the link in the description if you want to check out the Etsy store and all the cool things that are happening in there. People are making a lot of changes and getting a lot of good reviews, especially on the Lucifer attunement. What I found interesting is that with these attunements, that it sometimes has the feel of whatever the spirit or God is. For example, the Lucifer attunement, for a lot of people, has quite a profound experience. Something like a Jupiter or some other type of really God in this high in the hierarchy tends to be pretty big. So it continually amazes me and surprises me, and I guess that's all about learning, right? So I just want to give you kind of a brief synopsis of Jupiter, and I hope that maybe you all want to work with it, Jupiter, in the future. So please subscribe and like, comment, and I will see you in a future video. Take care.